Record. What's going on, everybody? Wilson here, your spiritual hype man. I'm super happy to be here today. And just remember, it's all the thoughts in our head. And if you're not happy with your outcome, just we gotta figure out how to change those things. I have a special guest today. Her name is Ash. Say what's up, Ash.
Hey,
Yeah, we connected on Instagram. If you haven't gotten a chance to check out Ash, Ash, how do we follow you on Instagram for all the people that are listening?
I am Ashley by Ash on
That's right.
Instagram, Facebook, wherever you look.
And you know what? We'll make sure we post that on the comments. But so we connected with Ash. You should check out her content because it's phenomenal. You can see what she's doing in the industry. And so Ash, just give us a little background. Tell us what you're doing, how you help people, and what you got going on right now.
Yeah, first I want to say thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, of course.
So excited, so glad we connected.
All right.
Um, but I'm Ashley Anderson. I'm a Tampa born and raised personal trainer. I've been training for the last 5 years. I currently serve as the operations director at the downtown YMCA. So I'm over health and membership. And yeah, I love strength training. I'm a retired power lifter. I'm a current, I like to call myself like an imaginary bodybuilder because I just train like it, but I haven't been on stage or anything. So yeah, I love all things health, wellness, fitness. Yeah, and hearing plates drop on the floor. So
Yeah, that's right. That's right. And then so with nothing changes, and for the people that are listening, may be new to listening to, the concept is simple. It's like nothing changes until you do is really the concept of understanding like, hey, what are my outcomes I'm not happy with? And
yeah,
then going back and reverse engineering the thought, well, the influence that creates the thought then drives the emotion, and the emotion then drives the action to then get yourself to that outcome, which is like, when you play that back in reverse, it's pretty mind blowing, right? So really, I'd love to know more of what drove you. Like, what was when you started in your path towards where you are right now, and what you're helping people with. Obviously, seeing you train, seeing your transformation of body, seeing that change, that mindset. Where did that come from? How did you get started, and what was that like?
yeah. So it's literally like you said. There has to be a seed of change, right? I think I came out of undergrad, and usually people are like, I gained so much, right? I was kind of the opposite, where like a lot of stress. I didn't have a really good relationship with like food and nutrition, so I was actually really underweight when I graduated. And I didn't like it, right? And like you were just saying, it takes that little moment, that little spark where you're like, I have to do something differently. And that's what hit me. So around 2019, I got in the gym. I actually became a vegetarian 2018,
Wow.
and started really locking in on my health, right? And how food impacted me. So, like you just said, that change was there. Then I got in the gym and kind of did more of a physical change there. I think the foods and nutrition was really more spiritual for me if you really think
Yeah,
about it, because you have to really dial back and listen to your body,
I love
right? So
that.
it's eating and then realizing how that made you feel. So that emotional connection. And so once I got that and really got that consistency of, making my food and trusting my ingredients because they're fresh, right? Or I'm reading the nutrition facts now. Starting that and then shifted it to the gym. And that's where I really loved and fell in love with strength training and programming and learning again how you feel after that workout, right? And
Yeah,
that mind muscle connection. And so that's just how I kind of did that whole, literally, your whole process. You just said it was perfect of
yeah.
that start and then that next thing and then continuing that process.
Yeah,
So,
continuing to reflect on it and see how you're
yeah,
feeling, and then keep going. I love what you
absolutely.
said about the food, and that's something that I wouldn't say most recently, but for a long time now. But definitely not my full entire life, where I was very conscious of the what I was eating, how I was eating, and why, and then how I was feeling after, which I think is
Yeah.
super important. That's a great point. So, being a vegetarian, let's stay on that a little bit. Being a vegetarian, you did that in 2018.
Yes.
So you've been a vegetarian since then. Wow. And not one day have you ever like, you know what? Let me just get this.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Like, so it's really odd because it's again your body, right? So you can crave. I wake up
Yeah.
sometimes and I'm like, oh man, like what I would do for some wings right now. Like
Yeah.
they're convenient. I love
Yeah.
spicy stuff.
Yeah.
And you'll smell it and your body will be like, don't you ever. Like, you know
Right.
how long we haven't had that, right?
Yeah.
So it's almost like the urge immediately goes once you're like, I might. Why not? Your body's like, hey, I've been too consistent. So that's really what
Yeah.
kept me on the straight and narrows. My body's like, don't you dare.
I love
Don't
that.
you do it. So,
And that's after repetition, like after, you keep doing it. And
yeah,
and that's a
yeah,
great point too with the whole change thing. Is like, I feel like when it comes to change and like, let's say, for example, even changing into vegetarian diet, it's like you're going to have these moments where it's like, okay, I know I want to change, or I know
hmm
something needs to change. then you start working on the change. And sometimes for me, it's like I revert between that two and going back.
Yeah.
So I'm like, oh yeah, I'm gonna do this, and you're like, oh, let me not do this, and then you do it. But then all of a sudden, you get to a point where you're like, I've had enough. I
Yeah.
don't want any more of this feeling, or I don't want any more of this relationship. Fill in the blank, whatever it is. Then that's
Hmm.
where you start, setting that, I guess, long-term change of actually becoming that person, and that habit ultimately becomes who you are. That's pretty.
Absolutely.
That's pretty phenomenal. All right, so let me ask then, in terms of your process from what you said you were underweight, that was another shift for you that you wanted to just bulk up. What take us through that, like, mental and that emotional ride a little bit.
Yeah, so it really is that how do you feel looking in the mirror, right? I think as a personal trainer, I ask people what their goals are, but because I did have an experience where I looked in the mirror and not that I didn't like it, right? You can have lots of self-love and confidence, but that piece of knowing, you know what, I could do better and I can actually change this.
Mm,
So that was the shift for me of, okay, I'm healthy, right? But is this my peak healthy? Am I actually putting in the effort of healthy, or am I just maintaining and saying, it's okay, I'm healthy,
right.
right? So that was it for me was okay, I love how I look, but I know I can look different and better and be a healthier version of myself. And that
Mm,
right there was the shift for me because like you said, you kind of drag your feet and you're like,
yeah.
okay.
Yeah. Right.
And so it was like, okay, you're okay, but is that enough? Right? Or do
Yeah.
you want to feel awesome and do you want to feel accomplished and proud that you just ate how you were supposed to and hit that lift and feel good? Right.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so that was it for me was it was connecting that of like, no, 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 we're gonna do it. We're doing it all the way. So
Yeah, I know. I love that. And I would, I always try to figure out, like, obviously, because it's a little different for everybody in terms of how you get there, right? How you get there is a
yeah.
little bit different for everybody in terms of their journey. But I always question, I'm like, how do we get there? Or like, how do we motivate people? And as a trainer, how do you do that? And how much of it is it until someone's actually ready?
Yeah, awesome question. I like to paint their picture. I think
Mm,
sometimes we get caught up in the potential, right? You see it and you're like, oh, I could take your text to another level,
mm,
right?
mm, mm.
But it's their image. They may want to have just a nice routine, right?
Mm,
They may just want to hit their 10,000 steps. So it's painting their picture for them clearer and clearer.
mm,
Not mine. I may want you to be shredded in 4 weeks,
mm,
right? And have a program that'll get you there. But they may want to just maintain a flat stomach,
mm.
right? Or they may want to be able to have better knee mobility. So
Yeah.
I paint their picture for them. Hey, remember, 3 weeks ago, you could barely do your step up on this block. We flipped it 3 times and this is the highest you've gone. Keep it up, right?
Yeah.
Because knee mobility was important for them. I may be rushing their squat performance and I'm
Right.
like, we could be hitting 315.
Yeah.
But that's my goal, right? If I push them to their goal, they may change their mind and say, let's start squatting 315,
Yeah.
right?
Right.
Because I got that knee mobility now and I trust myself and you've helped me with form and you've corrected this and you've created a whole plan for me. Yeah, let's do your thing now, Ashley.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's your visions first, right? Your goal is first. And we're gonna hit that first before I even think about where I want to take you. So that's
Wow.
just something I like to do as a trainer is you describe me what that looks like for you in full detail. I'll
Yeah.
take note of that and I'll never forget it and I'll keep reminding you of that until we hit it.
Yeah, no, that's great. It's like great psychology,
Yeah.
right? Because I feel like I try to not even at me as a trainer because I'm not really a trainer. I would say more of a motivator to get people going, you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I also feel like on a personal level, like sometimes with my other half or anybody that's close to me, that I can see the vision. Like like
Hmm.
you said, I know that you can get there
Yeah.
and get shredded, but then it takes it like I feel like sometimes for me personally, I find it hard to not see their picture and see only my picture and try to push
Mhm.
them. Have
Yeah.
you have you experienced something like that? Like, is there a fallout to that or
Yeah.
no?
Yeah, I've definitely experienced that. I think that was maybe my first full year of personal training was
Mm,
learning, okay, I think the individual isn't succeeding because I'm using my metrics,
mm,
right? And then I'm getting a message from them like, oh, this has been the best week of my life. This is the strongest I've ever been. I've never seen arm definition here. And I'm like, wait, what? I thought that check-in was terrible, right?
yeah, yeah,
And so it was that I was like, oh, because the check-in was by me of you need to be 3% down by now. We
right,
should be lean.
right,
And they're like, no, I this is the most consistent I've ever been in the gym, period. This is
Wow.
the most I've ever meal planned. This is the most water I've ever drank. I'm excited. And so it's like, oh, let me drop down, back to that.
Yeah.
Congratulate you for hitting your gallon today. Awesome,
Right.
right? So
Right.
it took that for me. That's why I was like, it's probably
Yeah.
my first full year was realizing, wow, I suck at training, and then realizing, no, it's because I'm using my metrics.
Yeah.
They think I'm doing amazing. They're
Yeah.
posting and telling their friends and family. So it's like, okay, perspective change.
Ah, I love it. I love it.
Yeah.
It hits home pretty,
Yeah.
pretty good. Cool. What a great what a great mindset and what a great takeaway for anyone. It doesn't, whether you're in training or, I guess on the macro
Mm-hmm.
level of things, really just meeting people where they are and
Mm-hmm.
understanding that the perspective is their own perspective, even though you may see the vision for more.
Definitely.
Yeah, beautiful. All right, so let's take it a little bit too. I wanted to talk about so take us through I guess your path. I know you started training in 2020.
Yeah.
Is that correct? So take us through
Yes.
that. You had plans and those plans kind of shifted. Take us a little bit through that and what happened there.
Definitely. So 2020 was the craziest year for, I'm sure, a lot of people. I was actually a full-time teacher, a high school teacher, and I was personal training after, right? So I had just got certified. I got my gig going. I'm training maybe 2 to 3 people. I'm feeling good, and it got to a point where I just wasn't able to balance. I started my PhD program, really excited, but obviously that workload is a lot different, right? And so just got to a breaking point where I felt like I had to choose, and I hate having to choose, right? I hate making that ultimatum decision, but a gym owner that I'm really, really close with, that I was housed with at the time, was like, "Hey, if you're good enough to get in now, why wouldn't you be able to apply in 3 years, right? Try your business, okay? Try take a chance on that." And so it was me making that decision and being like, "Okay," and I went full time into it, right, head first. Very little training, very little training, but I really believed in, oh my gosh, I can help people. And if I can't help people, I can find people to help them, or I can give them resources.
Right.
And I left the classroom and trained full time and made my teacher salary
Right.
actually. And so I was like mind blown. I think I'm doing something okay. So that was that. And by 2020, 2023, I'm thriving. I got a full, my calendar's packed. I got online clients, like hustle and bustle. And so now I'm the director at the YMCA, and so I'm sort of doing that again for the YMCA, and I love it. I never expect it. I think it's very cliche, but I get it when people say it. But you never expect it because it was a passion, right? It was a side hustle. It was a little thing I was doing,
Yeah.
and it just took off. It was incredible. So
Yeah, and I guess in those beginning years when you went from that change of like, you know what, I'm gonna go full time,
yeah,
was there a little bit of that imposter syndrome with you? Like that feeling or like how what was that? Take us through because I feel like
absolutely.
whether you're a trainer or you're getting into something different or a business and you got this a lot of people deal with that. And I've talked to a lot of people that have dealt with it.
Yeah, I think one thing about me is I love schooling. If you can't tell, I was going to get a PhD. So
Yeah.
I love to have theory and practice together, right? I
Mm,
like to learn as much as possible and then apply it. And then I feel comfortable in the concept of whatever
yeah.
it is. And so I took that into my training business where I felt like if I can't explain human anatomy top to bottom, don't ask me what bicep curl you should do,
Yeah, right.
right?
Right.
And so it was letting go of that because people were trusting me for just tips. And hey, I'm watching you meal prep and I love that about you. Can you give me
Yeah.
some recipes? I would freak out, right? I would literally be like, what do I send them?
Yeah.
And it creeps up because you're like, wait, I'm not a dietitian, right? I'm not a nutritionist. Will they panic if I give them a recipe with pizza and they hate pizza?
Yeah.
Like, so it's just a constant thing. Well,
Yeah.
if I give them Bulgarians, will they be upset that I gave them Bulgarians in their programming? And
Right.
so it's like trusting that they trust you, right? Taking that
Mm.
step back and saying,
God, I
hey,
like
they
that one too.
they reached out to me for help. They trust that I could at least help them. Give it a try. Give it a go.
That was great. What was it? Trust me that they trust you. What was that?
Yeah, trust that they trust you.
Oh, trust that they trust you. I love that one
Hmm.
too. Yeah,
Yeah.
fantastic. Yeah, and so I guess for one thing that I like, I have a group too. I have like a small group that for me, I guess the change came from same thing, visually seeing myself. Like I used to go to the gym 7 days a week. Like
Hmm.
I was going hard, right?
Nice.
And then like life and then running my business in terms we do
Yeah.
like a lot of stuff with like production things like that. And so things like it kind of came as priority, it became less and less priority for me to like
Hmm.
have to go to the gym every day. But I was going every day, even if it was like 2 o'clock in the morning and I didn't get my lift in, I would have to go, after school, after work, whatever it was. But now, like for me, I saw a picture, like I went jogging with my other half, Patty, and she took like a photo or like a video of us jogging. I had no shirt on, and then I looked at it, I was like, what the fuck? It's like, who, what, what, where's the rest of me? And so after that, I was like, okay, and that was my moment of like physical change because I'm doing a lot of mobility, I'm doing a lot of ice bath, breath work, meditation, things
Hmm.
like that. But I wasn't giving the time for more like of the strength training, which obviously is super important. And so for me, I was like, okay, what can I do on a daily that doesn't take that much time for me, but I can at least continue to sustain some sort
Yeah.
of strength training. And so I started with push-ups, and I was like, all right, how many
Hmm.
push-ups can I do? So I went push-ups, then I did pull-ups, and then squats because I was like, I got to make sure I work the legs. So ultimately, that became like a thing where I was like, I have to make sure that I get my minimums in, and then slowly increase these minimums over
Yeah.
time. And that gave
Perfect.
me enough, like what you were saying, gave me enough where for my own vision for like where I wanted to see myself in
Hmm.
terms, especially if you worked out for a while, like it comes
Yeah.
back quick, right?
Yes.
And so that gave me that, and then I kind of showed that to other people. I was like, look, everybody's different, which is funny that we talked about meeting people where they are in their own vision, because literally that's what I'm giving to them in terms of the
Yeah.
thing. Look, your minimum doesn't have to be 60 squats, 60 pushes, whatever.
Right.
It's just
Right.
what is that to you? And then
Hmm.
continue going on some sort of, on some sort of routine. I realized that like after maybe 180 days or something, or like 100 to 80 days, like it gets a little bit tougher. Like there's a moment where like
Yeah.
initially it's like, wow, this is cool. You're pumping, you're jamming, and then you keep going, and all of a sudden it like you start slowing down. You're like, oh man, I'm a little bit tired. I don't know if I can do it. So
Yeah.
I'm trying to figure out that like timing, and I'm sure it's a little bit different for everybody, but the
Hmm.
timing between getting a rest in and then going back in, right? And I think it's the same thing, physical and mental, like with your brain, when
Yeah.
you're running your business and you're doing 7 days a week or 12 days straight of like running your business, hustling, bustling. I feel like the body and the mind at some point needs at least a day of rest or at least something where it takes
Hmm.
a break and then comes back. How do you feel about that stuff?
I 100% agree. I am a byproduct of burnout.
Mm.
So I think, just like you were saying, once life compiles and then life compiles and then the things, you start really feeling it all because especially when you take something like the gym, that's your escape almost, right? Your release. And you have to move that down because I have to go get an oil change and then I have to
Yeah.
bump it. And then I mean, now it's 10 p.m. And so now like, so that when that happens, I almost use that now as a sense of like, okay, I think I need to take a step back. I think now is because I would almost fall into it of like, oh, that I need to kick it into overdrive, right? And
Yeah.
now I'm double burnt out because I'm
Yeah.
like, wait, I'm tired, I'm exhausted, then I got to crank it up, and I wouldn't have enough to give. And I love the saying of like, how can you fill someone else's cup if yours isn't, right?
Empty. Yeah.
And I was a disservice to people, right? How can I show up bags under my eyes to a session and ask you, how many hours of sleep did you get?
Yeah. Right.
Your sleep is impacting your strength training, right?
Uh,
They're looking at me like, girl, like,
where's that?
yeah, what do you mean by
Yeah,
that?
look at those bags
So
under your
it was
eyes.
like, Ashley, if you don't pour into you, you
Yeah.
can't give the best version of yourself to your
Uh,
client, right?
yeah.
And then that's a disservice because they do need you. And so
Yeah.
sometimes that means you have to take a day off, right?
That's right. That's right.
Like where I would have, four clients and then this and then programming, it became okay, programming days
Yeah.
and then training days.
Yeah.
And
Block
then
days.
actually block out, your workout always, give yourself an hour and a half and then you can place that wherever, but you
Yeah.
have to have it, right? And then
Yeah.
working around that and kind of building that schedule like that. So 100%, that's my breaking point is like, I can't get burnt out, Ashley. So what are we going to do to decompress and mitigate our stress? And that really, honestly, Wilson, was how I grew muscle mass, was
Yeah.
mitigating that stress. I was
Ah,
doing all the things, but because I was in overdrive
yeah.
all the time, I wasn't resting. I couldn't recover.
That's right. Your body couldn't
And
recover.
so it shot up my muscle mass, my energy levels. It took everything up because I was just laying down and turning my brain off.
Yeah.
So, yeah, 100% pour into yourself so you can pour into other people and we can just keep overflowing.
Awesome. I love
Yeah.
it. I love it. All right. So take us through again, I guess that's a good like lead way into routine. Like what kind of routine do you have during the day? Day or night?
So
Do you have any of that?
my favorite routine would be my night routine, and I like to basically finish, brush my teeth, put on a nice moisturizer, and then I lay there and I literally think about my entire day, right?
Mm.
And not only do I just run through like checklists that I do this, that I do this, but what I'm grateful for, right? So if I'm at work and I had been working a super long shift and got off late, I think about all the interactions I had at work.
Mm.
Oh, that one guy that told that one joke, right?
Yep.
Like I start pulling out those things of like, oh, I'm so grateful. Like that was a really good conversation. Oh wow, that guy gave me his business card. I do need to follow him on Instagram. Now I have a resource of something, right?
Yeah.
I start literally thinking about what I'm grateful for, and that turns into tomorrow, what can I accomplish and what can I knock out, right? Instead
Yeah.
of dreading, which I used, this is a me thing. I
Yeah.
would dread, right? Tomorrow's Saturday. I gotta wake up. I gotta meal prep. I gotta do this. And so it turned it into like, ooh, we can meal prep and then we can go get a sweet treat and then we can like more of like you get to, right? You
Yeah.
get to do it. There's the opportunity because there are people who don't have that opportunity. And so
Right.
that's my little night routine. And I fall asleep just gently thinking about my workout plan and meal plan
That's right. You're
and
ready
what
to
I'm
go.
gonna get done.
And you
So
get full rest because you're sort of setting yourself up to
exactly.
not feel for tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Exactly.
That's
Exactly.
fantastic. That is fantastic. That's really good. Yeah, I think between the appreciation for yourself, making sure you get good rest, and then having that gratitude, it's important. I actually do the same thing. I like when I lay there, I that's the first thing. It's like, what can I be proud of that we
Yeah.
did or that we accomplished? Yeah, really good. Awesome. All right, Ash. So let me ask a couple more questions for you. As far as if people wanted to get in contact with you or just kind of, again, see you. I know you're on Instagram. One more time, it's Ashleet. Can we spell that out for the people that
Yes.
may? Yep.
Ashlete by Ash. That's Ashlete by Byash.
Yeah, awesome. I'm really happy that we connected. And as far as if they wanted to maybe become a client, do you do online coaching as well right now or?
Yes, I am taking online clients for in person. You can meet me at the downtown YMCA. Your fitness orientation is free. We can figure out your goals. You can also reach out to me on social media and we can help get you an online programming or packaging, anything you need. More than happy to help.
Awesome. Okay, and then I guess the last segment would be like, what are some last words if someone's going through, something that they want to change, and especially when it comes to the physical or, their training or yeah, I would say more of the physical health, right? The physical health.
Yeah.
What would you give them in terms of advice if they're just starting off?
Simplify it. I think we overthink. And I love making plans. I'm an over planner. But then I'll
Nice.
write on a sticky note, right? A 3 step simplified thing to do.
Yeah.
And I like to break down all my steps. So for me, when you were talking about me gaining that muscle mass, that's a lot of work. That's a huge goal, right? But I chunked it. I was just excited that I was hitting my meals every day, right? I
Yeah.
ate all of my meal prep food. I would love seeing all of my Tupperware stacked. And I'm like, I completed all my meals,
Yeah.
right? I hit
Check.
all of my workouts. I PR'd on something. I like chunking all those things. I got a new protein workout or powder. I got a new supplement to try. Like adding those things, being grateful for those things, and then checking that off and being just as proud. Like
Fantastic.
you didn't hit your goal weight overnight, but
Right.
you rocked out this week for all of your workouts and all of your water and all of your steps. You kicked ass. Like you kicked
Yeah.
ass. There's no way around that, right?
Yeah.
So it's pushing that, simplify it, chunk it down into little baby steps, and pat yourself on the back for those baby steps because they
That's
count.
it.
I tell all my clients they count. Half reps count, tries and errors, like it counts.
Yeah.
Mistakes count. It all
Yeah.
counts because you tried. You did it.
Yeah,
So
showing up counts. I like it.
definitely.
Give yourself that pat in the back, and I think so for most of us, we don't do that too often,
Yeah,
and I think that reminder is good because the more we remind ourselves, and then it becomes part of your change, it becomes part of your habit,
exactly.
then all of a sudden it becomes who you are. Wow, that's fantastic. All right, well, I'm super excited that you were here, and I'm super excited we're connected. We're always going to be connected from now on.
Here we are.
Um, guys, again, if you're the first time listening, check out Ash on her Instagram social. Her content is awesome. You can see her change. You can actually see her physical change and the things that she's doing, and she's looking fantastic, and that's why we've connected. So Ash, thank you again for everything. Thank you for your time.
Thank
Keep
you,
crushing it.
Wilson.
I appreciate you guys. Remember guys, nothing changes until you do. We'll see you guys on the next one.
Bye,
Peace.
y'all.
Let's go.